Hello folks, hope you're well. Yeah, God just reminded me of something that happened years ago. And that started an interesting point. What God reminded me of was King's Church, Chatham, Kent. That years ago, we're talking at least 20 years ago now. At least 20 years ago, more than that really. About 25 years ago now. King's Church had the pastor Grant Gill at the time, and he created a system where he had 12 pastors under him. I think it's about 12, it could have been more, but I'm pretty sure it was about 12. I went to one of them and said, I have a problem with lust. I was introduced to lust at an incredibly young age. When I was 7 in a children's home with a 14-year-old girl trying to get me to have sex with her. And I've had issues with lust ever since. The pastor said, don't worry about it, it's perfectly natural. Okay, you take care, bye-bye, and close the door on me. Told me it's perfectly natural. The masturbation, pornography, looking at women in a lustful way, yeah, all of that is perfectly natural. The reason why he dismissed it and shut the door is a very, very simple point. If you try to help people, if you actually end up helping people, then more people come that need help. And more people come that need help. And suddenly you don't have time. You don't have a life, you don't have time to do anything at all because of the fact all you're doing is you're dealing with that because that's all you've got. And you've got all these people coming to you for help because one person came and you decided you're going to help. Well, the point of it is, when they make it all about church, when they make it about relationship with church, you go to church for help. You don't go to God, you go to church. Although a lot of people think they go to God because they go to church and they pray with someone, so they think therefore they're going to God. No, you're not. You're actually going to church. Because the whole point of relationship with God is you understand that your relationship is with God. You don't go to another person, you go to God. You don't go to someone else for help. You don't need to go to someone else to pray with. Why? If you're going to someone with greater faith than you, then okay, yeah. That's okay. Do that. Because then you're going to grow in faith, right? That's great. God might send you to someone with greater faith than you. But if you've got a relationship with God, God's not going to send you to someone who thinks you should have a relationship with church to pray with. That is not. God's never going to do that, no. So I was watching a video earlier that was talking about what hell was like, and this person said that someone was talking to him about that God showed him hell, and the person had, what's it called, PTSD because of it, and couldn't face most of it because it was so horrific. Yeah, that wasn't God. God didn't show the person that. The word of God says God's not going to put things on you that are too much for you to bear. God is not going to put too much on you, right? That's not God's way. So if a person has PTSD because of that, it wasn't God who did it. But that was just like, okay, I've gone a bit over the other way. Because I'm just talking about what God won't do. God won't do that sort of stuff. Yeah, there are things that God won't do. It's not in his nature to do that. Anyway, yeah. We're supposed to send people to God. When we send people to God, it doesn't matter how many people come to us with problems. We're sending them to God. We're sending them to that relationship. When they come into church, we teach them how to have a relationship with God. We teach them how to build that relationship, how to stand, how to walk in that relationship with God. Right, now the problem is we have areas of the Word of God when it talks about the armour of God. That's about building relationship. The church doesn't understand that that's about building relationships. That's about saying that's the tools that you've got. For what? For what? So you can walk. Walk in what? Walk in relationship with God. That's what the armour's for. Lucy slipped there, you can see that. But that's when I had the 6. Yeah. Molly, Chewie, Lucy, Amber, Riley and Mickey. Mickey was Chewie and Molly's pup, and the people that had Mickey then didn't want him anymore, so he came back to me. And again, this is why I still think, and I know, I'm just talking about the dogs for a second, I know God wanted that to happen, right? I know that, and I know that God wanted that to happen for a reason, but I'm still looking at that thinking that was nasty, because Mickey had left here when he was 8 weeks old to go to these people. They got into a situation where they didn't want him anymore. They were moving location and they didn't want to take him, and they asked me if I wanted him back, so I took him. He came back here for a second chance, and then the SSPCA come and nicked him and separated them all and rehomed them. Yeah. My pain about them being taken isn't about my loss. It's about theirs. You can see how they are together. Right? They were their family. I was part of their family, but they were also their family. And the SSPCA, those sort of organisations, they pretend they care about animals, but they really couldn't care less. If they did, they would not split them up. They would not do that because they would understand. So same as you, if you have children, if you have a lot of children and the social workers come and take your children away, and then they split them all up and put them all into different families, that's evil. Don't take them away unless you absolutely have to, and when you do, keep hold of them together until you can find a home that they can all go to together. Yes, it might be expensive. Tough crap. You took them away from, their family without necessarily having to do so. There could have been other ways you could have dealt with the situation, but you decided no, because as I said, these organisations, social workers, SSPCA, those sort of people, they take animals and kids away because if they don't and something happens, they get into trouble. The SSPCA organisations, RSPCA, they rely heavily upon charity donations. If something happens when they could have stepped in, they lose donations, and that's why they do it. That's their whole motivation as the reason why they do it. Because it could cost them if they don't. And yeah. Again, I understand God wanted that to happen. I do. But I also know that there's underlying things there that I'm still not happy about with regards to that. At all. And yeah. Honestly, it's that case where it's exactly how God wanted it to happen. Yeah. But God didn't make the SSPCA do it that way. Their nature made them do it that way. And yeah. That's always going to be something that really annoys me. Yeah. It is what it is, isn't it? You know. We are in a world where evil and greed and self and the things that rule. But yeah. It is what it is, but this is why the message that comes out of the church, the message that comes out of those who have God, have to be God's message, not a mirror of the world. So right now, this whole thing in church about banning people from church because you're offended, that's cancel culture. That is cancel culture. Exactly the same as cancel culture. So therefore, all they're doing with that is reflecting a mirror. Saying to society, we do things the way you do. That's why the devil's not attacking the church. He already has them. He doesn't need to do anything, not when he already has them. Yeah. So our job is to teach people about relationship with God. And about pointing them to God as the solution, not us. We can't be. If we are the solution to people, then eventually we have too many people coming to us and we can't cope. That's why it's not supposed to be that we are the solution. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.